Mississippi River cuts through Missouri like a dark scar, carrying with it centuries of whispers of steamboat wrecks, haunted mansions, and lonely roads where headlights vanish into nothing. This state may be known as the show-me state, but when it comes to its ghosts, what you see might not want to be seen. From river towns that never sleep to homes that breathe with the weight of tragedy, Missouri's haunted places remind you that history doesn't always stay buried. Tonight, we step into its shadows. 1 Guthrie Mansion, New Franklin, Missouri. In the small town of New Franklin stands a decaying Victorian mansion, its windows dark and unwelcoming. Locals call it the Guthrie Mansion, though it's been abandoned for decades. Time has stripped its paint, but not its secrets. The Guthrie family's fortune rose and fell quickly, and with their collapse came whispers of betrayal, madness, and violent ends. The house itself became the stage for tragedy, family members reportedly lost to murder-suicides, and servants vanishing without explanation. Those who dare approach the crumbling structure say the air shifts as though the house exhales, warning intruders away. Inside, explorers speak of flickering lanterns glowing in rooms with no electricity. Footsteps echo upstairs even when the second floor is empty. The most unnerving reports describe a woman in white appearing at the windows, staring outward with hollow eyes. Some believe she is Mrs. Guthrie, mourning her family's fall. Others insist she is something older, a presence tied not to blood but to the land itself. Neighbors avoid the mansion after dark, claiming screams can be heard drifting through its broken glass, carried on the wind. Paranormal investigators have captured EVP recordings of a man shouting, "Get out," followed by the sound of violent pounding. The Guthrie Mansion remains empty, but its silence is deceptive. Those who step inside say the house doesn't feel abandoned, it feels hungry, as if waiting for the next soul to wander too far inside. 2 Elms Hotel and Spa, Excelsior Springs, Missouri. Grand staircases, polished chandeliers, and a history steeped in luxury, the Elms Hotel and Spa looks like the perfect retreat. Yet beneath its elegance, the Elms hides shadows that no amount of restoration can erase. Since 1888, the hotel has burned down twice, only to be rebuilt each time. Tragedy seems woven into its walls, and guests claim the spirits of those who perished never checked out. The basement, once used as a speakeasy during Prohibition, is said to be the most active. Staff members describe seeing a man in 1920s attire, sharp suit, slicked hair vanishing into walls. Some even feel hands brushing their shoulders while descending the stairs, only to find no one behind them. In guest rooms, people wake to find shadowy figures standing at the edge of their bed, silently watching. Others report the smell of smoke drifting through hallways, a reminder of the fires that once consumed the building. The hotel's spa area carries its own ghost patrons soaking in the mineral baths, claim to hear soft weeping echoing off the tile, the cries of women who never left. Paranormal teams have recorded disembodied voices, children's laughter in empty corridors, and sudden drops in temperature. Yet the Elms remains open, its haunted reputation almost part of its charm. Guests come seeking relaxation, but many leave with something far less restful, the memory of unseen company lingering in their room. 3 Savannah's historic jail, Savannah, Missouri. In the quiet town of Savannah sits a building that looks ordinary at first glance, a simple brick jailhouse from the 1800s. But step inside, and you'll find the weight of Missouri's darker history pressing in from every wall. This jail once held violent criminals, drifters, and desperate men caught in the chaos of the frontier. Overcrowding, disease, and harsh punishments carved deep scars into its walls, and not everyone who entered ever left alive. Today, the building has been restored as a museum, but its spirits refuse to be archived. Visitors report chilling encounters, a heavy presence in the old cells, doors rattling violently as if invisible inmates are still trying to escape, and the low groans of men echoing through the corridors. Some have heard voices whispering their names in the dark, breath hot against their ears, though no one stands near. One particularly chilling tale involves a phantom jailer. Guests walking the cell block describe hearing the distinct jingle of keys, followed by the heavy stomp of boots pacing slowly past the cells. Yet when they turn the corner, the corridor is empty. Paranormal groups investigating have captured unexplained voices on recorders, gruff, commanding, as though an authority figure still prowls his rounds. Savannah's jail stands as a reminder that confinement doesn't always end at death. Here, the bars still hold more than memories. They hold the restless remnants of lives cut short, locked away forever. For Avon Cemetery, DeKalb County, Missouri. A small cemetery in the middle of rural Missouri doesn't sound like much until you step inside Avon Cemetery, hidden in DeKalb County. This graveyard has gained an infamous reputation as one of the state's most paranormally active places. The atmosphere strikes you before you even pass through the rusted gates. Locals say the air turns unnaturally still, and the usual sounds of insects or birds seem to vanish altogether. Those who linger too long speak of glowing orbs hovering above gravestones, pulsing like lanterns carried by unseen hands. Legends whisper of a witch buried here, her grave said to be the epicenter of strange activity. Visitors claim to hear her voice carried on the wind, chanting in a language no one understands. At night, shadowy figures move among the tombstones, vanishing when approached. Car engines stall near the cemetery, and headlights cut out as though the place itself rejects the living. One of the most unsettling tales involves phantom footsteps. People walking the narrow paths hear crunching gravel just behind them, yet no one is there. Some leave in panic, swearing the unseen presence followed them home, bringing nightmares of dark figures standing at the foot of their bed. Avon Cemetery might be small, but its silence roars with menace. The dead here don't simply rest, they rise, they wander, and they remind you that the ground beneath your feet is far from empty. Missouri State Penitentiary, Jefferson City, Missouri. Some call it the bloodiest 47 acres in America. The Missouri State Penitentiary opened its gates in 1836 and quickly became one of the most feared prisons in the country. For nearly 170 years, its walls absorbed violence, despair, and death too much to ever truly release. Executions took place here, both hangings and later in the gas chamber. Riots erupted, leaving scorched scars on the prison and on its stories. Countless men died within its walls, murdered, executed, or simply broken by confinement. Their presence lingers like a heavy fog. Tour guides recount harrowing experiences, apparitions pacing cell blocks, phantom screams echoing through solitary confinement, and the crushing sensation of unseen hands gripping shoulders. Paranormal investigators report spikes on EMF meters, sudden temperature drops, and shadow figures darting between cells. One of the most infamous areas is the dungeon-like basement, where prisoners were kept in complete darkness. Visitors often feel overwhelming dread, nausea, or hear faint scratching on the walls. In the gas chamber, many claim to feel watched by unseen eyes or worse, to hear labored breathing that isn't theirs. The penitentiary shut down in 2004, but its reputation only grew darker. To walk its empty halls today is to walk alongside those who never left. Here, punishment has become permanent, and the cries of the condemned echo without end. 6. Union Station, Kansas City, Missouri. By day, Kansas City's Union Station is a marvel of Beaux-Arts architecture, soaring ceilings, massive windows, and echoes of a golden age of travel. But by night, when the footsteps fade and the lights dim, something else moves through the cavernous halls. Built in 1914, Union Station was more than a travel hub. It was a crossroads for life and death. During World War II, soldiers passed through by the thousands, many never returning. But perhaps the darkest event etched into its bones was the Kansas City Massacre of 1933. In broad daylight, gunmen ambushed law enforcement officers outside the station, leaving 4 men dead. The echoes of gunfire are said to still ripple across the building, a memory too violent to fade. Visitors describe shadows gliding along the mezzanine, footsteps that trail behind but vanish when you turn. Security guards speak of cold blasts of air in sealed rooms and radios crackling with phantom voices. Some even claim to see soldiers in World War II uniforms, silent and watchful, as though still waiting for their trains. Most unsettling are the reports of screams reverberating through the grand hall in the dead of night, high, desperate, and impossible to trace. Others hear a child's laughter echoing across the marble, though no children are present. Union Station is polished and beautiful, but beneath its grandeur lies a lingering dread. It is a reminder that even in places built to move people forward, some remain forever stuck in the past. 7. Pythian Castle, Springfield, Missouri. A looming fortress of stone rises in Springfield, its turrets and Gothic arches straight out of a medieval dream or nightmare. Built in 1913 by the Knights of Pythias, the Pythian Castle has lived many lives: an orphanage, a nursing home, a military prison during World War II. Each layer added to its story, and each left shadows behind. Inside, the walls echo with more than history. Soldiers once held captive here have been seen in ghostly form, their uniforms still crisp, their eyes hollow. Visitors on tours report hearing chains dragging across the floors, or the faint metallic rattle of cell doors slamming shut. In the old orphanage rooms, the sound of children's laughter drifts where no children remain. Some claim to have seen small hands press against the glass, vanishing the moment they look closer. Paranormal investigators describe the castle as a hotbed of activity. Shadow figures dart along staircases, lights flicker with unnatural timing, and the feeling of being watched is nearly unbearable in the basement tunnels. Mediums say the energy here is layered, as though spirits from different eras overlap, trapped together in eternal unrest. If you stand in the ballroom, you might hear music begin to play on its own, the echo of long-forgotten dances. But listen closer, because beneath the melody comes another sound, the faint cries of those who never left. The Pythian Castle is a place where history performs nightly, whether you're ready to witness it or not. 8. Jesse James Farm, Kearney, Missouri. The rolling farmland outside Kearney looks peaceful, but beneath the quiet soil lies the restless history of America's most infamous outlaw. The Jesse James Farm, birthplace and home of the notorious bandit, carries more than the weight of legend. It carries the echoes of violence and death. Here, Jesse James grew up among whispers of rebellion and lawlessness, a boy who would become a man feared across the frontier. The farmhouse itself witnessed raids, ambushes, and the endless paranoia of a family under siege. Even after Jesse was shot in 1882, the house remained a magnet for tragedy. Visitors today often speak of unease as soon as they cross the threshold. Some claim to see Jesse himself pacing near the fireplace, his boots leaving no sound. Others hear gunshots cracking through the night air, though no rifles are near. In the upstairs rooms, cold spots appear suddenly, so icy they sting the skin. The creaking floors groan as if someone unseen still patrols the hallways, guarding secrets long past. There's also the presence of Jesse's half-brother, Frank James, who returned here in his later years. His heavy footsteps are said to echo up the stairs, accompanied by the smell of tobacco smoke. Guests sometimes hear murmurs of men's voices, like an outlaw gang still plotting one last heist. The question lingers, are these spirits protecting their home or warning strangers away? The farm has become a museum, but no glass case can contain its ghosts. Here, the past doesn't rest, it paces, waits, and watches. 9. Lemp Mansion, St. Louis, Missouri. In the heart of St. Louis, a mansion sits with an elegance that hides its darkness. The Lemp Mansion looks grand from the outside, an ornate reminder of the city's prosperous brewing dynasty. But step inside, and the weight of tragedy clings to the air like damp velvet. The Lemp family built an empire from their brewery in the 19th century. Yet behind their wealth was despair. Suicide became a grim inheritance. William Lemp Sr., his son, his daughter, and later another descendant all chose to end their lives inside this very house. The rooms echo with grief, layered thick as the wallpaper. Guests report more than creaks of an old building. Doors slam by themselves, glasses shatter without touch, and shadows appear at the ends of corridors only to dissolve when approached. The attic is said to house the spirit of a child born with deformities, hidden away and called the monkey face boy by cruel whispers. His presence is felt as a faint tug on clothing, or a small shadow crouching in corners. Some visitors smell phantom cigars or hear the faint clink of glasses, as if the brewery patriarchs never left their nightly gatherings. Paranormal investigators call the Lemp Mansion one of the most active locations in the Midwest, where sadness seeps from the walls and refuses to die. If you stay the night, you may hear soft weeping in the dark, or worse, a voice urging you to join them in their eternal despair. 10. Zombie Road, Wildwood, Missouri. Imagine standing on a lonely path at dusk, the trees forming a skeletal canopy overhead. The air here is heavy, as though the forest itself is watching you. This is Zombie Road, officially known as Lawler Ford Road, one of Missouri's most infamous haunted places. Locals tell you the nickname didn't come from fiction, it grew from stories of restless dead seen along its winding trail. Once a busy route for workers and settlers in the 1800s, it's now reclaimed by the woods, its pavement cracked and fading. But it's not the silence that unnerves visitors, it's the whispers. Hikers report hearing footsteps pacing just behind them. though the road lies empty. Voices drift from nowhere, calling names that aren't theirs. The legends trace back to accidents and deaths, workers crushed by trains on the nearby tracks. A mysterious hermit said to have murdered trespassers. Even a woman struck down and left to wander in her blood-soaked nightgown. And if you bring a camera, be prepared. Photographers often capture strange lights darting between the trees, or pale figures that vanish when viewed with the naked eye. Would you dare walk here at midnight? Because many who tried say the shadows move closer, matching their pace, until they run breathless back to safety. Zombie Road has become less of a place and more of a test. How long can you walk before something follows you home? Missouri may look like the heart of America, but in its rivers, roads, and ruins, something darker pulses. From outlaw hideouts to prisons that echo with the cries of the condemned, these places remind us that history never truly dies. It lingers, restless, waiting for those brave or foolish enough to listen. So tell me, which of these haunted places would you dare to step into after midnight, or would you rather leave Missouri's shadows undisturbed? That's all for today. If you enjoyed this chilling journey, don't forget to like, comment with your favorite haunted location, and subscribe for more weekly videos from the shadows.